Welcome to Keeping It Current, your direct source of information for what is happening at Potatoes USA and within the U.S. potato industry. The past 2 months have enhanced my appreciation for what people can do when things get tough. While everyone in the food industry is considered essential, there are many barriers that make actually doing essential work challenging, especially when dealing with research institutions and the regulations they face that are often not based on farming principles. Today, John Lundeen will update you on the exceptional efforts potato researchers have been making across the country to keep our research programs on track. The dedication and perseverance they have exhibited has been truly remarkable.
Thank you, Blair. Today I have the opportunity to talk about two programs. One is the National Fry Processor Trials, and the other is the National Chip Program. For shorthand, I will call these the Chip and Fry Trials today. Both of these are investments in the long-term profitability of the potato industry. These two programs are focused on finding new cultivars that solve a problem or take advantage of an opportunity for the industry. We're looking for candidates that have greater disease resistance. We're looking for candidates that perform really well in the field, high yields. They hit the size that a processor in the chip industry or the fry industry wants. They have great color when we process them so that they're very appealing to the consumer. But as Blair referred to, this was a hard year. This was a difficult year because of COVID. And there was a lot of work and creativity in getting these programs operating this year. So let me start by telling you who's involved in these programs. It starts with the university breeders. They bring us these candidates that they think really have high potential. And the breeders are within the university system, but they're also ARS breeders that work within the USDA system. We have other individuals involved. We have professionals in the university system that run our trial sites. And then they manage the trials, and then they collect the data at the end of the process. We have university scientists with expertise in storage and disease testing. So let's talk a little bit about what these folks were up against this year. It was like watching COVID move across the country, because a university in one state would put all sorts of restrictions in place, and then within 2 weeks, it moved to a different state. So what were these restrictions? There were travel restrictions. Could you even drive to a trial site? There were staff cutbacks. There was the loss of graduate students. I heard about graduate students going home at spring break, and then they couldn't come back to the university at the end of the spring break. And there were lab closures. But this is what is so wonderful about what happened this year. People found creative solutions. I heard about how staff worked with administrators at the university to get these programs deemed essential. I heard about workarounds on travel. One person per pickup truck, driving out to the travel site. Procedures in the field to keep the staff safe. I heard about solutions working with commercial growers when one of these trial site cooperators, one of these professional staff could not fly or drive out of state to help harvest a trial. And they worked with the commercial grower. The commercial grower figured out some procedures to take some initial data collection on these cultivars and then send the cultivars to the university to do the final testing. One of the funnest things I heard about people having seed cutting. You can't call them parties because it was a bunch of individuals cutting seed in their kitchens because they couldn't get into the lab, so that they had seed ready to plant. I heard about these standard operating procedures. And through this process, these trials moved ahead. And we got seed in the ground, we got the trial sites operating, and already we've got harvests happening. So it was all creative solutions, and people were sending emails back and forth to other universities across the country on solutions they had found and workarounds they had discovered. So I started with a list this year, a list of all of the trial sites where there were some issues and people didn't know how they were going to run their trials. And over time, my list got shorter and shorter and shorter as people came up with solutions and resolved things and got the administrators to accept the solutions that they were coming up with. Now, this doesn't mean that we have solved every problem. There's still going to be difficulty moving forward, but I really love the way this network has worked together to figure out solutions. And I have a lot of thank yous. I have thank yous for the breeders and the trial site coordinators. I have thanks to the folks in the university labs. I have thanks for the commercial growers for chipping in and helping harvest these trials. So here's what I need to say a little bit about upcoming discussions I'm going to have with you. I think of the research department within Potatoes USA as being where science hits the dirt and where we come up with solutions that are going to help this industry long term. And I will be coming forward in the future to tell you about some of those other programs that we have. So I'd like to turn it back to Blair now.
Thank you, John, for a great review of our research programs and the wonderful people implementing them. Your efforts to support our industry's research needs is greatly appreciated. And I want to especially thank all the researchers, research assistants, students, and staff across the country who have made exceptional efforts to maintain their projects during this time. I wish you all the best until we meet again. Keep your heads high and your thoughts kind. Potatoes, real food, real performance.